I guess that's fair. My relationship with the person in this portrait has changed. So as I move forward with this painting, it's going to be different, and it's going to be, I'm going to have to start thinking more abstractly, not painting more abstractly, thinking more abstractly about what I want to do with it, about what it means to me, and my brush won't move the same as it would have if this hadn't have happened. It's time to move forward. How am I doing that? I'm going to start glazing. I'm going to start with the figure, which for me right now means I have to mix a skin tone, and then I do hair color, and then I do the top, whatever that is, and then I do the skirt, and then I do the beads. Looking at my reference photo and figuring out what color the skin needs to be more of. The thing with glazing, whether that's a second coat of glazing or if it's a first coat of glazing on top of something that already has color, is that you're averaging what's underneath with what you put on top of it. So that's why you're able to get such smooth gradients between dark and light. Like, see, this line right here is actually very, very sharp. And that's not how it looks in a person. That obviously is going to have to go. But the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to expand the darkness out and then blend it back with lighter color again, so that it all kind of smooths out. I'm so much less afraid of making mistakes when I'm glazing, because it just, I feel like it actually is harder to. I feel like you just kind of go with the flow and figure it out. You have to trust what you've already done and move forward. This top section has really grown on me in the last few days since I've seen it. It's not perfect, and I don't think it was ever going to be. I think it's got some really interesting stuff going on though. I'm excited to work with it more. Glazing medium. This I always have to look up, because I always have to look up what the glazing medium is, because I always forget, but I'll tell you here. Damar varnish, linseed oil, and turpentine. Alright, so what I'm going to do today, after doing a little bit of research, I'm definitely doing a third Damar varnish, a third terps, but what I'm going to do here is, linseed oil is slow drying, and I kind of want to speed it up a little bit. So I'm going to use some Galkid, which is just the Gamblin branded Alkyd, which is a fast drying medium. It dries in 24 hours. And it creates like an enamel-like finish. I might do a little bit of linseed oil, because linseed oil makes it dry slower. I don't really want that to happen. I'll do somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. So I'll start with the Damar. And this stuff I will make one batch of, and then I will use it for the entire project. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. Okay, so these things are almost impossible to open. Galkid is gonna be the worst. I'm gonna take my Damar varnish, pour a little bit in. That's a lot. It'll be fine. I'm going to be using a lot of this, so better to have more than I need before I screw these caps on. Linseed oil. How much do I want? Like, not much. Galkid, I'm going to need a little bit more of. Take it up like there. That's probably fine. And then my turpentine. Phenomenal. Now it makes a skin tone. I want it to be slightly more red than the last one, because that's the majority of what I'm missing here. And I actually need very, very little of this. to get what I need. There's a spider on my palette right now, so. Oh my god, he got stuck in the white paint. That's so horrible for him. Come on, buddy. There you go. Get out of there. Is what my palette looks like. Oh. When I start, what I normally do here is something that can tilt this palette back so that all of the medium flows to one side. And then I pour a little bit on there. Usually I just use the cap of the glaze medium because it's there and it's easy to use. Alright, so keep in mind, this is what it looks like before, and I'll show you an after when we're done with today's session. For glazing, I use this kind of brush. So here I'm going to use such little paint and such little medium. I mix them together like so, right over here, to get a really thin amount of stuff, and then from there I go right in. And yeah, this is great. If you mess up, you just go over it with a rag and it'll be fine. Always got to keep in mind how much paint is on your brush. You really, really don't want a lot. I'm still using mineral spirits to clean it up, clean up the brush. With this stuff, you can only work in an area for so long. Diminishing return, basically. For this area here, I actually am super happy with it, so I'm going to use as little as possible. So the first layer I'm doing over this tattoo is to lighten it and make it more a part of the skin tone. I don't want to keep it separate, because if you remember, I actually painted it at a totally different time than the rest of the figure. That meant that it looked a little bit disjointed the whole time. And so this is just kind of like one coat over that whole area. Brings the whole thing a little bit together. So now we can move forward with it as like one structure, one shape, one idea. This is kind of like, this is the point where I know why I glaze this kind of thing. Like it looks better to a degree that I couldn't even have imagined possible before. It's a level of quality that's like, I didn't know anybody could make something look like that. I mean, it like, obviously you know that they can because you've looked at all the paintings from the Renaissance and from whatever, like you know that that's how they were doing it, but you just, it's kind of unfathomable. Just like, my brush is getting muddy. I'm like so happy with that. Like that looks like a hand. Looks a lot like a hand. It's not perfect, but dude, really, really, really good. This style of painting is not possible without a really good underpainting. Like, I needed to have all of the colors blocked out exactly where they needed to be so that I could blend them into each other and make it look like this. Like, that to me is a human hand. That is not, and this is just the first pass. I don't always do every part of the canvas 3 times, but look at that. I didn't even do the rings yet. So I'm gonna use blue for the metal, just to distinguish it from the skin. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for now. That line right there is definitely too dark, but I'm accepting that and I'm moving forward. I will come back in the second pass and I'll fix that up. I'm losing like a lot of saturation, which is kind of messed up. I'm not excited about that. Because this is when I'm supposed to be adding the most saturation. So I'm putting some more burnt sienna in there and hoping that fixes the problem. Alright, so now I know for next time that because of the way that this went, I need to do the face first. It's not a bad thing that I did it last this time, but if I keep doing it last, it's going to keep being the thing with the lowest saturation, and that means that it all looks less uniform, which is not at all what I want. Oh man, I'm getting to the point of like, my brush is kind of just pushing paint around, which is not good. It's a little dark. I need to saturate it and smooth it out. But it's okay, it's smoother. And it's more saturated. But it is now dark on the front cheek, which I smoother, and it's the right brightness. We're getting there. I'm done for the day. It's getting late. Got a haircut. That's good. I'm happy with it. I was just feeling like weird yesterday, so I cut my own hair. I think it's good. There's that whole thing where like hair holds memories. I don't know how true that is, but the main things I want to do today is I want to do another layer on the face up here, fix this area, do the hair, and smooth out this line right here. And maybe darken this up over there. But everything else I feel pretty good about. I might do some more stuff down here just to make it smoother, but yeah, I'm actually very happy with the arm. Oh, I might work on the tattoo as well. That'd probably be the last thing I do. And if I'm feeling really, really fancy, I'll start working on the top and the beads and the bracelet, but we'll see. We will see what happens. And I'm at the point today where I don't know if I'm even gonna mix the skin tone. I might just use raw color to very lightly get closer to what I need. Obviously I'll mix on the palette during the process, but so yeah, here I'm just trying to make more contrast. Make these lights a little bit lighter. And here again, I'm using the tiniest little bit of green because I'm seeing it in the face. Trust your eyes. Trust what you're seeing. It's going to be important. So the reason I just made that whole area red is because the next layer on top of it is going to be blue. When you mix burnt umber with red and blue in alternating layers over a matte black, that's how you're going to get your deepest darks. what I'm doing here is a combination of looking at the photo and trusting what's already on the canvas. You're only gonna get a better result if you work with what's already there, right? Like you have to think about where the lights are and give them highlights, and think about where the darks are and give them lowlights. Like you have to trust that what the canvas is telling you is correct. But also over here in this section, like this wasn't as dark as it is now. These little tiny highlights weren't there before. I made them because I know that they're there and it would look better if they were included. This streak of light hair here, I thinned it out up top, and I'm going to continue doing so as I add more layers to make it seem more, I don't know, intentional, refined. Like I want this to look like a strand of hair, and right now it looks like a brush of paint. I'm planning ahead. I'm recognizing that in the darker sections I'm adding more burnt umber, and then I'm fading into burnt sienna, and then I'm fading into cadmium red. That's mostly what I'm doing here. And then white and yellow and orange. This works, only because she has dyed red hair in this picture. Here the paint is a little bit blockier, so I'm going to have a little bit more freedom. I need to blend all of that into itself. We can already tell the difference between this side and this side. Of like, this looks finished. It looks more finished. It's not, but it's getting there. It's getting to a place where I'm happier with it. So, yeah. And also with glazing, I use a lot less paint than I do in the first coat. Like the first coat, I actually am, as I said, I'm not using a lot of medium or a lot of paint thinner at all. And so I'm just kind of putting it on there. I guess for this, I use very little paint. But here now, I'm using so little. Like it should be a nice sheen, bright, shiny coat. I'm not doing a lot. I'm not adding a lot of paint. I don't clean my brush as often as I probably should when I do this kind of thing. I kind of just like work it in. Like when I need a new color, I just dip back into the medium that I have on my palette, and then I change the color on my brush and figure it out from there. Alright, I started working on the back again. It's being a little challenging. Just need to smooth it more. The cicadas are gone, which is really weird. I'm so used to hearing them when I'm out here. Alright, I'm going to do the lower back, I'm going to do the beads, and then maybe I'll do the top. What time is it? It's really looking like very smooth, very vibrant. Yeah, that went really quick. Alright, I'm gonna do the beads. I think I do. I think that's what's next. I think I want to do primarily red and burnt umber here, and the reason for that is A, I need it to reflect the skin tone, but B, I want it to be separate from the skirt, so I know what I'm doing more. So. My highlights here, similar to how I did them in the first coat, I think are going to be a purple-ish situation. This is doing really interesting things I did not expect. I don't know if I'll show you a before and after for glazing the first 2 days. I don't know. But I'm done for the day. The top is different. It's more colorful. I like that I got a little bit more detail in the lower section. The upper section is kind of a flop. I didn't feel great about it today. But that's okay because I've said things like this before. It's very difficult to mess up when glazing. Nothing you do is irreparable. You can always figure out a way to fix it. So I will figure out a way to fix it. I did not end up glazing the hand or the arm, and I don't know that I will. I'm pretty happy with how they are. I could do like a little bit more, maybe, because it's a little yellow right now. I would want like a little bit more pink in there. We'll see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But yeah, the hair looks great. That's the biggest improvement of today, is that now it's the color of hair instead of being just kind of weird, random, whatever I had left on my palette. Like now it looks right, which is great. The back is super smooth, the skin everywhere, super smooth. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm gonna be moving on to the skirt soon. I think that'll probably be next session, maybe? I don't know. I got a little bit more work to do on the tattoo, but I'm gonna let it dry first to give it all a day. I'm probably gonna do one more coat on the hair. I'm probably gonna do another half a coat on the face, and maybe a little bit more on the lower back. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy. I got a lot done today. Yeah, and it's looking like human, very, very real. I'm very happy with it. It's real shiny too, which is kind of funny. It's weird to look at it from the side because it's all like very reflective now. yeah. No, I'm excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. I can't wait. I think this skirt is gonna end up being like crazy, crazy smooth. I can't imagine it going any other way. It's just like, it's just going to be really, really smooth because it's already such a nice texture that I'm so happy with. When I glaze over it, it's gonna be like butter. That's not a great word for it, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is coming along. I think this is gonna be a great final product. I'm really excited. But yeah, I do have to wait for the glazes to dry a little bit, and also I'm just kind of done for the day. I think if I do any more, I'm going to be pushing myself too much, and I'm just not going to get a result I'm super happy with. So I'm staying here. Feel great. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's probably the end of a video. Yeah, I think I am cleaning my palette today because I didn't use a lot of paint, but it would just be nice to have it like fresh when I start again. I'm use very, very little paint here, so it's not like wasting too much by letting it go. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to clean your brushes if you're doing stuff like this. But yeah, I'll see you on the next session.